The matter will be resolved. The 67-year-old grandmother says she's keeping her guns loaded and ready just in case. From Hempstead, this is Elma Barrera, Eyewitness News.
Okay, let's check on sports, see how the Astros did tonight. Here's Bob Allen.
Well, for a change, they are in extra innings, but that hasn't been too bad for the Astros lately. We'll tell you what's going on in just a minute.
Remember roller rinks? I always skated with my Steady Eddie and my favorite white pleated skirt, at least till creepy Jimmy Carlson started showing off.
But Mom cleaned it with Cheer and hot water. Today, I wash differently, in more warm and cold water. And Cheer knows it. That's why today's all-temperature Cheer is so tough and warm and cold. How tough? Tough enough to clean these in warm, and tough enough to clean this collar in cold, and without pre-treating. Here's that collar. Cheer cleaned it in cold without pre-treating. And these, Cheer did great and warm. See? Cheer's changed with the times. Even roller skating's changed. But I think I can adapt.
In today's cooler temperatures, you can trust today's Cheer.
In New York, known for its fine dining, we're at world-famous Tavern on the Green restaurant. Tonight, we're secretly replacing the fine coffee they normally serve with Folgers crystals. Are Folgers dark, sparkling crystals rich enough to impress New York diners? Let's watch.
Coffee was great, really delicious. I loved it.
It's really rich, really rich coffee flavor.
It's really rich. You can really just taste the flavor.
It's Folgers crystals.
Is it?
Instant.
You're kidding.
Excellent.
Great. I'd absolutely buy it.
You start your morning off with this or finish the day with this. This is good. I like it. It's very good.
Folgers crystals. Coffee rich enough to be served in America's finest restaurants.
For all my country friends, U.S. Gold, minted in my country.
At selected banks, brokerage houses, and coin dealers.
It was supposed to have been the news conference where U of H's Clyde Drexler and Akeem Olajuwon announced their intentions to go pro or to stay in school. The time was 12:30. No Clyde, no Akeem. 12:45, 50 reporters and photographers still waiting. 1 o'clock, heard they were down the hall talking to Guy Lewis. And at 1:25, Guy Lewis came in and said they were still undecided.
Whether you want to get mad or whatever you want to do, both these guys just informed me and they didn't want to come in here and tell you, and I don't mind telling you, that they are undecided and are not going to make any statement today. And that is their press conference.
Well, it sounded like a good idea at the time. I mean, we apologize for it, and it wasn't our intention to do that.
Clyde had intended to show up for the press conference and announced that he had not yet made up his mind, but there was a snag. When Clyde and Akeem arrived at Guy Lewis's office, Akeem told Clyde he would do whatever Clyde decided to do.
Does that make your decision difficult? Very difficult, because I don't want the blame.
Have you talked to him that he's got to make up his own mind?
Right, I've told him we're individuals and we have to do what's best for each other.
Did that delay everything today?
Pretty much.
But come Saturday at midnight, Clyde and Akeem will have the decision behind them.
The only thing I think that's going to really make us decide is the deadline.
If you could be guaranteed you'd be picked by L.A., would there be any question?
That's pretty good. This is not something you can decide in a week or a couple of weeks, because this decision is one of the most important I'll have to make in my lifetime.
Tim Melton, Eyewitness Sports.
Out at the Dome tonight, Astros and the Braves are tied. Score is 3. Inning is the 10th. This is the bottom of the 7th. Tony Scott singles. Billy Dorn comes around to score. That ties it at 2. Then Dickie Thon doubles over to right field. Tim Tolman comes around to score. Astros take the lead at this point, 3-2. But then in the 9th, the Braves come back. Glenn Hubbard opens with a base hit off of Phil Garner's glove. Then Jerry Royster, the hit and run is on. He gets the single. Then former Astro Bob Wasson, base hit up the middle. Hubbard comes around to score. And that ties the game at 3. That's where it stands right now. Braves are batting in the 10th inning. Let's go to the National League scoreboard tonight. Philadelphia losing to the Chicago Cubs. L.A. beat San Diego 4-3. Pittsburgh over New York 6-2. And San Francisco beat Cincinnati. Elsewhere, the only other game in the National League, St. Louis over Montreal, leading that one in the 7th inning. American League, Oakland over Detroit. Toronto beat Cleveland, and Boston beat Milwaukee. Jack Nicklaus is in a 3-way tie for the lead. in the Colonial Golf Tournament up in Dallas. Nicholas shot a 66 along with Gary Hallberg and Joe Inman. Hale Irwin is in a group 1 shot back. That one's in Fort Worth, not Dallas. Okay. And we'll update you on the scores as they come in.
Okay, no, still tied up going into the bottom of the 10th out there in the dome. By the way, Marvin Zindler's not here tonight, in case you hadn't noticed. Marvin went out to Midland to witness the premiere performance of the Community Theater's version of The Best Little, et cetera, in Texas. First time a community theater's done that. Marvin will be back tomorrow to tell us how the show was. Here's Ed to tell us about the weather.
If there's one thing Marvin's an expert on, that's amateur theatrics. We will talk about the weather when we come back.
Once you taste the flavor, then you get the fever, then you got the fever for the flavor of a Pringles.
Once you taste the fluffer, you need help. Once you taste the flavor, then you get the fever. Then you got the fever for the flavor of a Pringles.
Yeah! Once you taste the flavor, it's the deep fried taste. Then you get the fever. It's the crispy crunch. Then you got the fever for the flavor of a Pringles. Wait till you taste Pringles now.
You're late.
A day late.
Isn't this Tuesday?
The dinner party was last night.
Why not join us for leftovers? Cold fried chicken.
I'll refry it.
Won't it taste greasy?
Not with Crisco Oil.
Looks crispy. Mmm, delicious, not greasy. And I missed this last night.
Yeah, this and Diane. Your date?
Crisco Oil for fried foods that taste great, not greasy.
America, you don't know it yet, but you're going to Europe this summer on Pan Am.
You're going because we cut our fares. They're lower than last year.
You're going because now there's no excuse not to.
It may be London.
Or Paris. Or Rome. But you're going to Europe this summer on Pan Am.
Because you can't beat the experience or the price.
America, I guess we're going. You can't beat the experience.
Now that that's settled, all that's left to decide is which bank we'll vote.
Texas American Bank.
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 Then it's unanimous. My grandson will have his first savings account at the bank with whom we do all our corporate business, Texas American Bank.
Starting out in business? Start with us at your Texas American Bank. Let's talk business.
Talk about the weather. Here's Ed.
Let's do indeed. Let's start with a color-enhanced satellite photograph of the United States taken during the afternoon. Winter weather continues over the western United States. Snow is quite heavy over portions of Wyoming and Montana and the Dakotas, moving up into Canada. We'll take a look at some current temperatures in that area in just a minute. In advance of this frontal system that separates the cool air from the much warmer, much moister air, thunderstorms have been active during the day. This evening, earlier in the day, they were active in this area, and tonight there are thunderstorms extending along much of that frontal boundary. We'll also look at that in a minute. But first, let's talk about Houston today. Our low temperature this morning was 72. The high this afternoon, 81. A little over 1/100th of an inch of rainfall at Houston Intercontinental Airport. At 10 o'clock, it's 73 out there, 72 downtown, 74 at Hobby. Our barometer is steady. Winds are southeasterly, pumping in that moisture at 11 miles an hour, and the relative humidity is 82%. This satellite photograph, taken just a short time ago, shows that the frontal system has not moved very far. It attaches two low-pressure areas, one in Texas, the other up in the eastern part of the Dakotas. 36 degrees right now at Bismarck, 39 at Casper. That's behind the front, and snowfall is occurring in much of this part of the northern United States. In advance of the front, although it's hard to see on this satellite photograph, there are heavy thunderstorms over central and northern portions of Oklahoma, southern Kansas, up into northwestern Missouri, over into the extreme southeastern corner of Illinois. In advance of the front, all that warm, moist air, as we said, 68 degrees at 9 o'clock tonight at Chicago, 73 at St. Louis, 74 over in New Orleans. It looks like this front is going to stay west of us probably throughout the weekend, so we're in for more of the same kind of weather. We will have an offshore flow, onshore flow, southeasterly winds bringing moisture up from the Gulf. During the afternoons, things might be pretty good with some sun, but during the late night and early morning hours, a good chance of clouds, and at any time, showers could crop up. Eventually, this frontal system will begin to move in an easterly direction. It could cause some rather heavy thunderstorm activity when it does, but we don't know when it will happen or if it will happen. Our forecast for tomorrow looks like this. We'll call for early morning tomorrow. The front will be stationary about halfway across Texas, where it's been all week long. Behind it, high pressure will continue to pour cool air into the central parts of the country. In advance of it, southeasterly winds will continue the warm air. As a result of that, there will be thunder shower activity in advance of the front, some snow and some rain behind it, and much cooler behind it. The Galveston Bay forecast, slightly choppy to choppy. Winds southeasterly 10 to 20 knots. The Galveston beach water temperature is 73. Offshore, seas will run 5 to 7 feet with southeasterly winds at 15 to 20 knots. And here is our forecast. We'll call for partly sunny skies the next 3 days. Lows in the low 70s, highs in the mid 80s. A 30% chance of rain tomorrow, 20% on Saturday and Sunday. Otherwise, just more southeasterly winds, warm and muggy weather.
Got to watch those thunderstorms. They can crop out or
crop out any time. I came close.
It's like breaking out or breaking
yes, or crop up.
Yeah, that's got it. Thank you, Ed. Well, there's an airliner hijacking tonight. We'll have that story and a look at the Spruce Goose in just a moment.
Used to be business travel could be very unrewarding.
Mr. Smith, they want you back at the home office.
That's why at American Airlines,
we're giving you our best.
We invented the Advantage program for frequent flyers, so all those business miles can add up to free vacation trips. We even keep track of your miles for you automatically. American's Advantage program, just one more way we're giving you our best.
My partner and I were on assignment investigating the lettuce shortage.
What do you see?
I see people, and they're eating our lettuce with 7 C's Viva Italian dressing.
Is it true about the top?
Absolutely. The exclusive shaker top keeps the delicate herbs and spices in 7 C's Viva Italian perfectly blended, shake after shake.
So, it really is true.
Oops! With 7 C's Viva Italian, our lettuce shortage may never end.
Let's ask an expert why Foley's baby sale is so terrific. Save 25% on selected styles of newborn playwear, including Health Techs and Carters. 25% off selected styles of Carter's playwear for infants and toddlers, too. Girls Popover sets by Ruth Scharf, Little Bitty, and Baby Togs, 25% off. Foley's baby sale ends Saturday. Hurry in.
A bank doesn't carve out a reputation just on the traveler's check it carries. But the traveler's check it carries can tell you a lot about a bank. At University Savings, we carry just one traveler's check, the one rated best by people who carry traveler's checks. We have a solid commitment to offering you the best of everything. So when it comes to traveler's checks, we offer nothing but American Express, the best of everything. At University Savings, like your bank used to be, only better.
Juan Ortiz, a Mexican national, has been given a 15-year prison sentence for the death of an illegal alien from El Salvador who was murdered last summer. The dead man was one of 4 illegal aliens who were found tied up and shot to death along the banks of the Brazos River down in Fort Bend County to the southwest of Houston. Ortiz's first trial ended in a mistrial in Richmond back in March with a jury deadlocked 11-1 for a conviction. His second trial ended in a guilty verdict. Authorities report the hijacking tonight of a Capital Airlines jet with at least 230 people on board. The plane was on a flight from San Juan, Puerto Rico to Miami when it was commandeered by a woman reportedly carrying a flare gun. Officials report the plane has landed now in Havana, Cuba. This is the same flight out of Puerto Rico that was hijacked to Cuba just last week. And finally tonight, one of Howard Hughes' lifelong dreams before he died in 1976 was to build one of the world's largest airplanes. And back in World War II, the result was the famous wooden Spruce Goose. It was, and it still is, the largest airplane ever built. It was not built of metal, it was made out of plywood. For the last 40 years, the huge wooden bird has been kept in a hangar, but now it's coming out of hiding. This weekend, the world's largest airplane will go on public display, all 400,000 pounds of it for the first time ever. It'll be in California's Long Beach Harbor, right alongside the Queen Mary. The world's biggest airplane is now expected to become one of the world's biggest tourist attractions. Well, that's a look at the news. Let's check with Bob Allen, see if we've got any late developments in the ballgame.
Yeah, bottom of the 10th inning, Astros have 2 runners on, 1 is out. So something could shake
2
here.
runners on, 1 out.
1 out.
And they're going to win it.
We'll see.
We'll get them Astros.
We'll
That's the news for tonight. We thank you for being with us, and good night.
KIKK's giving away cash today. $50, $100, or $5,000 today and every day in 83. Listen, it's your kind of country.
Since the fuel charges are a large part of my electricity bill, I've been wondering, are the fuel charges going to be reduced?
Mrs. Hayward has brought up a very important issue, so the light company has come out here to discuss it with her. Now, Paul, do you think we're going to see reduced fuel costs in the future?
Well, we think that things are looking a lot better, Mrs. Hayward. There may be some modest decreases in fuel prices, but more significantly, we don't think that the cost of fuel is going to be going up nearly as rapidly as it has in the past. The price of natural gas, our major fuel source, has stabilized considerably, and that's going to help us. In addition, we're out all the time trying to find the most economical fuels available for the company to use.
Mrs. Hayward, it looks like the news about fuel is good. Stable fuel prices is something you and all of HL&P's customers can benefit from. We're Houston Lighting and Power, the light company.
George C. Scott stars Friday night at 10:30. The preceding was a rebroadcast of tonight's 10 p.m. Eyewitness News.